questions.
Can you speak to the transformation that this has made on your roster now? It's just one player leaving and one player coming, but it looks like you're balanced in a whole different way now when you look at this team.
It addresses our biggest need, short-term and long-term. We've been looking for a D-man for a while, and to get a D-man of this caliber, obviously you have to give up a lot, and we gave up a good player in Ryan Johansen, but we feel that our depth on forward side is good, and we have a lot of good young players coming, and our biggest need right now and into the future was adding a real good defenseman. They're not easy to get. There are not many available, and when a guy like Seth Jones became available, then we decided to make this move.
Forward depth for sure. What about center depth? Does this now open up a hole for you down the middle?
We have Boone Jenner on the wing, who's played center all his life. He can move on to the center position. We have other options too, and we'll look at our depth chart a little differently today. And moving forward, we have our scouting meetings next week in Florida, and we'll be looking at all of our options. We'll have our pro meetings first, and then our amateur meetings. So those will be the two avenues that you can fill the needs that you have in your depth chart, and we'll be addressing them.
Jarmo, you mentioned that you'd been scouting Seth for a while, seeing what he could do. Just kind of tell me about his upside defensively, and he also has a little bit of an upside offensively.
Yeah, I think that he's a very well-rounded young defenseman. He has played behind guys like Shea Weber and Roman Josi, two All-Stars, and there's not going to be a lot of power play time left when you look at guys like that. You know, some of the best in the league in their position. And Seth Jones last year in the playoffs, for example, when Shea Weber got hurt, played over I think it was 26 minutes a game. He's going to get a lot bigger role with our team. He's going to get a lot more specialty teams with our team. And defensemen traditionally they're a little slower to mature. So he's 21 years old, and he's got the future ahead of him, and a lot of room for growth and development there. So we believe he's a good two-way defenseman that can add some offense to our game, add a right-handed shot into our power play, and also kill penalties and log a lot of ice time. So now when we look into the future, we have Ryan Murray and Seth Jones and Jack Johnson, David Savard, and we have Zach Werenski coming, who just was named the best defenseman in the World Junior Championships. I feel pretty good about our defensive depth and decor moving into the future with the Blue Jackets.
Jarmo, at what point in the season did you think it was a possibility or become a reality that you would trade Ryan?
Well, the reality was yesterday, because these things take a lot of time, and obviously there's a lot of thinking involved on both sides. Like I said, we gave up a lot, they gave up a lot, and we think about these things very in depth when we make our analysis on how it's going to change our depth chart or our team or our chemistry, all those things. So it took a while, but in the last few days after the roster freeze was lifted after Christmas, we started talking about it more, and talks intensified in the last couple of days. But you can never be sure until both say that the agreed deal's done.
Hey, Jarmo, I wouldn't say that it rose to the level of a plan, but I think the hope was maybe that Brandon Saad and Ryan Johansen would pair to create an elite top line for you guys. Where did the hope and the reality not mesh?
I guess through the struggles of the team this fall. That's you can never I guess put a stamp on where exactly, but there's been some other good chemistries building with our team. Hartnell, Wenberg, and Saad as a line has been really good for us in the last few games. So it's hard to say when that would have happened, but I mean, we were hoping that would be the case, but we moved into a different direction now.
Well, even Ryan Johansen has acknowledged that his play was far below his standard this season. Given that and your place in the standings, why did this trade have to be done now? Are you trading low on Johansen? In other words, could you have waited until his game came back together again and been in a better position to deal?
If you have a crystal ball, I could answer that. The only answer that I can give you on that one is that we felt that when a guy like Seth Jones became available, that's the time for us to make a decision. If we wait, he might not be available. Obviously, people know what the upside of Ryan Johansen is. We know what the upside of Ryan Johansen is. He had 71 points last year, 33 goals the year before. So I don't think that we're selling low. People know what he can do. And like you said, he's the first one to admit that he probably could have done better this year, but he's not the only one on our team that has underperformed. So he's been a good teammate, a good player for us through a lot of different periods of good hockey and not so good hockey, and we wish him nothing but the best, and he's a good guy.
Jarmo, you've talked about Seth being a number 1, number 2 defenseman, but at 21, you said a bright future. Where is he right now? Is he your top defenseman?
Well, that'll get decided by the play on the ice. We have Ryan Murray, who's a very good young defenseman. We have David Savard, who's a good young defenseman, and Jack Johnson, and many others. So, that's everything is as you've seen with Torts. You got to earn your role on the ice. It doesn't matter what your contract or name on the back of the jersey says. You got to earn it by your play, and that's the right way to do it.
What impact does John Tortorella have on these trades? You're the GM clearly, but how much say and input does he have in these?
Obviously, we talk about things in the roster and the players with the coach daily, but we make the decisions on the trades, and in the trade itself, he does not have any input. But I talk about the roster and the players and the performance and expectations and how the players meet the expectations every day with them. So that's part of the coach GM relationship that I try to build at least, and I respect his opinion. He's a good coach, but when it comes to trades, we make the decisions.
What was Ryan's reaction like when you told him the news?
I think Ryan could answer that better than I can. I mean, obviously, it's a tough thing to tell a player always. It's not the usually not the good news, So, like I've said this before, but it's probably the least favorite part of my job is to tell a player that he's been traded. Sometimes the player wants to get traded, so it's not as bad. But I think he was in a bit of a shock first. But like I said, he should answer that question, not me.
Jarmo, to build on that, what can you share with us from any conversations you've had with Seth? What you've shared as far as expectations, his reaction to the trade?
Well, I think he was a bit shocked too, and when you get traded as a young player first time, it's a bit of a shock usually, and then life goes on, and I met with Seth. I talked to him on the phone last night, obviously, and welcomed him on board, and talked to him this morning, and he's a good young man and very dedicated to the game of hockey, and he's got a great work habits, character, and everybody that we've spoken to and who know him really well and couldn't speak highly enough about his character and dedication to hockey. So we're very happy to have him, and he seems to be ready for the new challenge and new opportunities. So we're looking forward to it.
Jarmo, did Nashville ask for any medical assurances beyond what's usual given Ryan's hospitalization over the summer?
Just the normal stuff, yeah.
Jarmo, this was a big deal on its own with just 2 players involved, but how close was this to being even bigger? Was that something that you guys pushed to include more parts, more players, more pieces?
There's always talk about different options and what could be involved and whatnot, but I don't want to get into any of that. This was the end result, and I'll just keep it at that.
Kirby Reichel requested a trade over the summer. I think he still desires one. How do you handle that? Is he officially on the trade market, or do you just soldier on and do what's best for the Blue Jackets?
Kirby
regardless of
Reichel
his,
requested a trade per whom?
per Kirby Reichel's agent, per Kirby Reichel, period. Did he not request a trade?
I'm just wondering where that's coming from, that's all. But I'll have the same answer as Tampa Bay Lightning had, that they will operate on with the best interest of the Columbus Blue Jackets in mind, and that's the only thing that we're worried about.
Where's his game at, Reichel? Is he not NHL? I mean, he's in the minor leagues, so I guess that answers it, but is he not NHL ready to play?
He's playing very well in the American League. We're very happy with his progress, and I personally have said this many times to him and his agent too, that I think he's going to be a very good NHL player for a long time. And but sometimes it takes time. You know, Duncan Keith played 2 years in the minors, and his future has panned out pretty good. Brett Hall played in the minors. A lot of good players played in the minors for a while, and became very good players in the NHL. And I think sometimes you have to pay your dues and be patient, and the opportunity will arise.
Jarmo, has your vision always been to build from the back end out? I ask because in 2013, first round, you took all forwards, but I don't know if that was related to who was available and who others were taking. Has this always been your vision for the way the Blue Jackets should be built as a team?
Yeah, I believe in building from goaltending to defense to forwards, but in draft, the philosophy has always been to take the best player available. So, unless it's a tie, then you might go towards the need, and if your need was a D-man are harder to get, then probably if it's a tie, you go D before a forward. But best player available is and has always been my philosophy, and we're going to keep that moving forward too, because the needs can change when those players get ready. It could take 5, sometimes even more than 5 years before the players get ready after the draft. So those needs can change in that time very, very quickly.
You now have a lot of defensemen. Do you need to clear out the glut on the back end? I think you've got 9 here, even after Bodnar-Chuk's out. How do you deal with those numbers?
Well, I don't think 9 is an ideal number on the roster, so we'll deal with that, and I'm sure we'll find a solution.
Thanks, everyone. We're on the ice at 11. After the room will be open for player interviews. I'm going to ask you to not talk to Seth at that time, because once everything gets settled with that, we'll bring Seth in, and then we'll have Torts in here after. So that'll be the plan for the rest of the morning. Thanks.
Thank you.